Alright, it looks like we are live. Good morning, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the Brendon Isaiah Bengtson Pixelogic Show. How you guys doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's things? Yeah? Okay, things are good. No complaints I heard so far? Oh, one second, I'm finish up my breakfast smoothie. Alright. We are working on some God of War fan art. Yeah. Yo, what's up, Core Gazer? How you doing, man? We are putting in the work. Sam, what's up, buddy? We've got people out in a couple of different areas. This Joanne, what's up? We've got people in the YouTube land. What's up, YouTube people? People in the Twitch land. What up? And Facebook. That's technology, man. That's technology. What up to all those people out there? How you guys doing? Alright. Today, we are working on... I think we're going to work on a face a little bit more today. That was fun last time. And we, Yep. So that was fun last time, and I think we could keep going on that a little bit more today. So that's what we're going to do. Last time on the Bengtson show, we did the beard block out in FiberMesh. And if you guys weren't here for the last one, it was actually really quick and easy. Maybe I'll do that again real quick if you guys want to see the beard block out again. It's very, very quick and easy. Hello from Portugal, Daniel. How are you, sir? And then we did some quick rocks. Through that, I'd be keen. Well, hello, Keen. Yes, definitely. From Fab. Okay. All right. Maybe we'll do the beard block out real quick. Okay, I'm getting thumbs up from lots of people on that. All right, we'll do that real quick just to learn you up real quick. Like, we'll learn you up. All right. So let's turn all that off for now. And little Rockies. We gotta turn Rockies off. There we go. Alright, so usually what I do is I'll start out with just a quick block out of what I want to have the shape be. So I can get a quick understanding of what I want. So, once I got that, what I'll do is I'll start off with a masked area. So I'll just mask this little area. I'm not going to mask that again because it's already masked from last time. And then we'll go down to FiberMesh. And then we'll just grab one of these dudes. I think I usually start with this one, Fibers 142. Yep, that's the one. And then boom, there you go. No. Alright, and then we let's go to modifiers. Why is it going that way? That's weird. Anyway. first off, we'll take the length way down. Alright, something like that. Let's pull the max fibers way back. So it's a beard, so I don't want it to be like crazy thick. Because initially what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one patch, and then I'm going to duplicate that patch and move that patch around a little bit. So I'm going to error on the side of too thin, so that when I duplicate the patch, it will look more correcter. All right, and then this is going about straight down. That's fine. All right, there. I would say that's good enough for my first patch. It's really not that difficult. It's very, very, very straightforward. But that's the trick, is that you don't have to get so complicated. All right, so when that's ready, I'll just hit accept. All right, so now I've got this base, and then what I want to do is I want to grab one more piece that's going to fill in all of this stuff here. All right, so for the time being, let's turn this dude off. Well, XGen is I mean, this, to be clear, is really more just for block out. Right? I'm not going to use this beard for any in-game stuff, nor would I use it for the actual print if I was doing a print off of this. Really, it's more for look dev and you know, if an art director walks by and I want to show him the overall look and feel of the dude and how he's coming along, I can just turn that on real quick. You know what I mean? So it's by no means going to be used for the finished piece. It's more just for look dev, more for completing the look. All right, so this is where I want all of this to come from. Alright, so then we'll just do that one again. Let's go down to FiberMesh. What's up, IR? How you doing? We'll do Lightbox again. We'll just grab this same one. Bring the length way down. Now this is going to be a little bit shorter. Again, I'm going to error on the side of short and thin. Maybe a little bit more than that. No, I haven't really had much of a chance to use XGen at all, really. Maybe just a little bit longer. So 62, let's try 65. That didn't really make much of a difference at all. Maybe try 75. Yeah, that should be alright. Let's maybe get... The clumps are okay. Gravity's fine. Yeah, actually this is fine. This is fine for starting. Actually, maybe I want to do just a little bit less fibers. Let's try 2. Because I'm going to duplicate this thing and then move some stuff around so it'll be a little bit thicker. So maybe let's try 1.75. There we go. Let's try that. Alright, so then we'll just hit accept. And now we've got these two working together, which doesn't look like much at the moment, but that's where the new stuff comes in. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this front chin clump off for the time being. Kevin, what's up? How you doing, buddy? Good morning. And then basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start coming in here and moving some stuff around. right? I don't really use the grooming stuff a whole lot. I mostly just use the move topological, and just a regular move. And basically what I want to do is I want to pull all of this stuff in. So I want the hang to happen and not so much the fluff. I want this to kind of hang more. Alright, and then what I can do to get some of these stragglers is just use my move topological, and that's just going to move one of these pieces at a time, which is going to be pretty handy. Then I can get some of these flyaways to kind of come back under control here. Let's grab these guys, like penetrating into the skin. Looks a little weird. A bit strange. Alright. You can kind of tweak this however much you want to, really. I think maybe I'll just bring in some of these stragglers, just so it's not super crazy. Is there a way to get high details on low poly model so my PC won't hang? I don't really know how to answer that one. Alright, let's get a couple of these guys, these stragglers here. Come on. Thank you. Alright, so then basically what I would do is grab this guy and just duplicate this mesh. I have to resculpt the character in ZBrush to look like me, kind of. Do you recommend me to use it in my portfolio or just keep it to myself? I would say anything that you can put in your portfolio that looks good, that you feel comfortable people looking at and judging your skill level for, should be put in your portfolio. If you feel it's just practice, I wouldn't put it in your portfolio. But if it's practice and it turns out amazing, sure, why not? Yeah, so again, yeah, this is all just for look dev. I would go in and for the final stuff I would just redo all of that, basically. Alright, so then what we would do is just duplicate this guy. Joker, what's up? And then if I just start moving this piece, I start getting like this almost instant depth. Just by duping it and moving it a little bit. Then I can actually change some of the directions, change just want to make sure I change it enough that it's not so apparent that it's exactly duplicated. So for me, it's a lot easier to just make one patch and then just go in and dupe it and then move it around a little like this. And then let's put on this other patch, which was the chin cup. And then what I can do is, for this one is going to be the one that kind of comes down further to kind of give a little bit more shape to the front piece. Like that. And there you go. And then we went ahead and did some rock pieces for the beard. So it's very quick and easy. Very, very quick and easy. But yeah, later I would, if I was doing the game piece for this, it would be a whole nother process. I wouldn't use this at all. This is literally just for look dev and making sure that all the forms are right and it's reading correctly for his chin type versus, you know, is the character reading correctly. So let's see how I did compared to my other one. So that's this one. And this is the first one. Pretty close. I think I kind of like this one better. Sometimes you can just go and do it a couple of times. If you feel like it's getting away from you, you can go and just do it again. It's a very quick process, so. All right. So there are some questions that are coming in that are a little bit more technical. I'm afraid I can't really answer a lot of those types of questions. But I would encourage you to reach out to the art community if you do have questions like those. Alright, today we're gonna work on his face a little bit here. No. I mean, well, technically you could. So, let's say if you want to modify some of this, you could go in with like, no, not really. Yeah. So let's say you want to be able to get back to that real quick. What I would do is just, if you like that, just go through and make that again real quick, and then just instead of just accepting it, before you accept it, hit save, and that will save out your fibers preset for that particular style, and then you can just get back to it real quick if you don't like it. Yeah, you want to do a best render real quick? We'll do a BPR. So again, it's fairly thin, so I may even want to duplicate it some more. Looks pretty good. Not bad for a quick block out. Alright, let's start cleaning up some of this stuff. Start getting some of these forms back into shape. I'm just going to start using, not that much. I mean, I'm probably only about 2, 4, 6, maybe 6 hours in right now. But that's with talking, right? So I'd say if I was doing this in production, This may be maybe a day's worth of work right now. 8 hours, maybe even not that much. All about those base meshes. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Emil. Appreciate it, man. All right, let's start just jamming with some details through these guys here. So at this stage, I want to make sure that I'm hitting my big forms first, right? So it's really easy to jump into high-res details very quickly, and that's something you really don't want to do. You want to make sure that all of your big forms are reading. You've got all of your secondary forms. Can you do one on how you paint your sculpture? Maybe eventually. Maybe what I'll do is I'll, if we get far enough in this guy, maybe we'll do some poly painting. We'll see. We got a long way to go before we get to that, though. But yeah, the big thing to make sure is to get all of your forms in first. Because really, what you want it to do is you want it to look super dope before you get into any of those gritty details, right? You want to make sure all these forms are reading really nicely, from far away, medium, and close. You want to make sure all of those are just super solid before you get into any of those final small details. There's so many times when people just jump in from here and go like, all right, let's start doing pores, and it's gonna be awesome. I'm just gonna slather it with juicy details, and then you step back and you're like, well, your forms kind of suck. So I try to take it in stages, right? So the initial block out, you know, how does the pose feel? How do the forms feel in the initial block out? And then once the initial blockout's done, yeah, what up, Peter? How you doing, man? Once the initial blockout's done and the major forms are in, then you start, you know, hunkering down on your smaller secondary forms. And then that's the time where things really start coming together. Before you get into those little details. It's so hard to practice that restraint, but I cannot reiterate how important it is to make sure that all your forms are looking good first. Seems to me like a lot of DAS meshes are pretty decent. Does it make sense to use one of them as a takeoff point for a modified mesh rather than reinventing the wheel? Yeah, absolutely, man. Usually in studio, I think somebody else was, do you work for any company or freelancing? Yeah, I'm actually working for Crystal Dynamics right now as a character artist. What I would do is, in most studios, you'll actually start from a base mesh. They almost always have some kind of base mesh for you to start with, because what happens is they want unification in the UV land. So usually what happens at the beginning of a project is all that stuff will get established, you know. The head sculpts, the base bodies, standard base female, standard base male. So a lot of times when you come into a project, even after the initial steps, is all that stuff will be pretty much done, or at least set from the get-go. So more often than not, you'll actually start from a base mesh, or you'll have access to base meshes. It's just there's no reason to reinvent the wheel in production every single time. It's a waste of time. So I don't really like how it goes from thin to wide. It's a little bit weird. I'm gonna try to see if I can work on this overall shape to make it look a little bit more feasible in the real world. So on that note, yeah, I would, if you want to do like your poses in DAZ and bring that pose over and then just sculpt the crap out of it after you're done, hell yeah. It's actually a good, smart way to do it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your base mesh you'll still need to know the anatomy and everything to be able to make believable looking variations of it, you know? That's definitely something you still need to know. You know, overall base and proportion and all that fun, juicy stuff. Alright, how's this going to connect to his face? So I'm thinking out loud here, right? So this is skin, this is not skin. So I'm thinking might be cool if this was all skin through here and then it ended here. So like this. This is all skin through here. Kind of got this flap going. You see like some of these growth patterns rolling through here. Oh, awesome, y'all. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm always happy to hear when old streams still help people. It's nice. I'm glad it helped, man. That being said, for new artists, would you suggest sculpting base meshes for practice? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I would always, even for me, I try to at least once a year go back and do a full anatomy sculpt, just for my own benefit. But yes, if you have the time, and you're not in a production, you're not working on a freelance project or something, I would make sure that you know that anatomy first. Absolutely. Alright, so trying not to get into too much nitty-gritty details here. I really just want to kind of start working on forms, you know, and thinking about how these layers are going to read. You know, they're going to have little spurs on the end here. It might be kind of cool. So zoning out a little bit here. What's up, Hannibal? How you doing, man? So usually if I have two different sides of the same thing, I try not to... Obviously this isn't mirrored, right? So whatever I do to this side, I'm going to have to do to this side. So I want to make sure that while I'm exploring what I want to do, I don't get too far away from the other side, right? And I don't forget the processes that I did. So I don't want the two sides to get too far away from each other, because I want to make sure that they family fairly well without me having to go back and refigure out how I did something. So usually we'll just spend this time to get just the overall feel of how these pieces are going to work, and then I'll go back and bring the other one up. You know, when I'm happy with how this next level of detail feels, then I'll go back and bring the other one into family. All right, Kevin. Yeah, man. It'll be up on YouTube. So we're going to spur these out a little bit here. So I want these little pieces to pick up a little bit extra light. So from look dev, when do you start? I see that. From a look dev standpoint, at what point do you start sculpting with symmetry enabled? That one's a little tough to answer kind of on the whole. I try to keep everything in symmetry for as long as I can, just because it takes less time and you don't have to dupe everything, you know. But if I'm doing a pose like this and it's more important for me to get the pose done first, so the basic idea for this project is, unfortunately, it's not going to be game res. This one's a little bit more for a statue. So that's kind of the direction that I'm leaning with this particular project. So I wouldn't have posed this guy. If this is going to be a game asset, I definitely would not have posed him first. But because I really want to nail kind of the overall look and feel of what the statue would be, the pose is more important. And then that is going to sacrifice some extra time for sculpting in asymmetry. But if I was sculpting this for a video game asset, then yeah, I would not have posed him at all. He would be in A pose. And then I could do all this symmetrically. So just working on bringing out some of those. Hey, what's up, Craig? How you doing, man? We'll do this a little bit bigger here. And bring out some of this. So yeah, would be a badass sculpture from a guy who spent thousands on sideshow and customs. Thanks, man. I think for me personally, I've always wanted to do this type of work as a professional. I have never really had the chance to at this point. It's mostly just been video game production character work. So, you know, I always think that when you spend your time, when you don't have a lot of time, you should spend your time wisely, right? You should, if there's a lot of things that you want to do with not that much time to do it, you should go think smart, right? So what I'm doing with this particular project is, you know, I've always wanted to do a production, like an actual statue, product statue, whatever the hell you want to call it. Words. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I just do that at the same time? You know, instead of, you know, I get to stream for you guys, I get to hang out with everybody, and I get to practice the stuff that I don't get to do in my normal job all the time. Stack it. Stack the things on top of each other so you can do multiple things at the same time. Dougie, what's up, man? How are you, bro? Jose, how you doing? My white chocolate drop. How you doing, man? So now we have like these nice forms reading from all over here, right? What's up, Ashki? How you doing, man? I have not installed the 2018.1. I haven't had a chance yet. Question: what to watch out for when entering an industry game? Working for the game industry, what to watch out for when you're entering the game industry? Is that what you're asking? What's up, Pre-Drag? How you doing, man? No hiding from that uptime. Basically what I want to do is I want to have some kind of interesting breakup between this plane, this element, whatever this dividing element is going to be, and what's going on through here. So that's what I'm thinking right now is, you know, how am I going to handle some of these interesting transitions? Just got the anatomy for sculptor's book and just started to learn anatomy. There is a lot of anatomy. There is a lot of anatomy, yes. What I would do when you're starting anatomy is just take it a piece at a time. Just take it one piece at a time, man. Anyway, so what I'm doing is here is I want to have a little bit more breakup between this plane, this divider, and then whatever's going on over here. So I'm thinking we can actually do some interesting transition stuff here. Just push this in a little. Yeah, no, that's a good book. I don't really want that to be Sculptor's Prode at that point. Thanks, pre-drag. Again, it's just about making the shapes look good first, right? You know, it's like there's like no details in here at all. Nothing. Really about making those shapes. And again, like, you know, let's say that this is going to be for a print. Those little details aren't gonna show. You know, like a lot of those details get lost. So you really have to focus on first, second, third reads, you know? Like, how's the pose? Or like, you know, can I read these things from far away? Yeah, you're starting to read those, which are really cool. And then you kind of come up here and you're like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what those things are doing. I got it. Okay. All right. And then that final detail, it's going to be very minimal. Got to make sure that those forms are doing their job. Get back in line, forms. The cool thing is that if you look at the actual trolls in the game, each one of them is quite different. So the nice thing is that, you know, if this is fan art, you don't have to, you know, you get a chance to kind of embellish some of this stuff and take it in some new interesting directions. So why not? It's your piece. It's fan art. You get to do a little art direction, you know? You know, if you want to be an art director later, you know, start being aware of your own art and directing your own projects, you know? Got to get that practice in there. So what I'm doing here is I really want to be able to make sure that this has some really cool silhouettes in it. You know, like where I'm going to catch things, you know, I want to be able to have these opportunities to add that little extra oomph. So if I'm looking at them from here, they're really starting to look like a lobster claw, though. Did you see all the God of War art dump on ArtStation? Yeah, man, that stuff is just, it's so good. So good. Regarding the topic we discussed on Brendon's channel last week, character texture and material sets for current gen games. Epic had a stream about that a few days ago. Oh, really? ceiling fan art if it's the Sistine Chapel. Ah, I see what you did there. So here's the thing, right? So it looks like a lobster claw. How are we gonna fix that? All right, we don't want people to be like, ah, it's a lobster claw. Ah. And if I do these serrated things on the inside, it's gonna look even more like a lobster claw. So that'll be something that we need to really keep aware of. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to fix that yet. Oof, not that part. Not quite sure. Because you don't get... Let's see, where do you get lobster claw? From here. You're looking at it from here. Which we may be doing at some points. Alright, so what I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind on how to make this look less like a lobster claw. Now maybe if we bring these forms this way. And make it so it doesn't look like it can close all the way. Alright, so maybe if we do something like this. Yeah, it's only from certain angles, which is, if your thing is going to be seen from a lot of angles, if it is for, let's say this is for an illustration, I wouldn't be worried about it because you're sculpting to the, whatever your final image is going to be. So I wouldn't worry about that at all. If you're doing video game, yeah, I would be more worried about the shapes of things and not being able to hide certain things because you're going to be viewing it from all angles. You don't have a control over that. Let's say this is for a statue. People are going to be looking at it from all angles. So I want to make sure that even if it just takes a little extra minute at a time, see, look, that looks less like a lobster claw now. So it doesn't look like it can actually close or function. Okay. Yo, Pro, what's up? How you doing, man? Maybe what I want to do is, instead of having this major one come through here, I want to kind of break that up. What if I actually take it and bring this one back here like this, and this one ducks in and comes out? That's kind of cool. Again, more shape reads. That's kind of cool. And maybe on this side, to get it a little bit more organic, maybe that doesn't happen until out here. Hello, Olise Batar, Facebook. How you doing? And maybe we got this nice break coming through here. Maybe it's staggered. Maybe it comes out more there, and maybe it's in more here. Maybe this actually comes up as it's coming up and over. Yeah, all the regulars are here, man. It's awesome having the regulars. Big ups to the regs. Hey Don, how are you? Shout out to my Facebook peeps watching the stream from the good old FB. That's kind of cool. Has a little bit more of this nice like overly flow happening. We got over stuff and this is coming under. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I like that. Well, that's what makes you Captain Regular. Okay, so if this is skin, I probably wouldn't have like this huge ridge, sharp ridge here, right? If that was skin, probably use inflate here. And it would be more of a roll and less of a sharp. What's up, Andrew? Thanks, bud. So it's important that if you have a difference of materials, in this case, horn versus skin, it's important that you nail those differences down in sculpture so that you're not relying on just materials to explain what your surface is. Every surface acts differently under different pressures or different scenarios. So it's super important that even in your sculpture, just looking at what the surfaces are doing, you could tell it's a different, if it's different, it's a different material. You know what I mean? I'm going to fade that out even a little bit more here. Then to come back and sharpen this up under here. Because if you can nail the look and feel of what the material is in the sculpt, then whatever you paint on top of it, whether it's you know, an actual material, it's just going to add to that transition and add to that believability. Alright, so maybe we'll have some supporting skin wrinkles come through here. Gaith on Facebook says, for different materials like horns, skin, we can make them 2 different polygroups, and that will let us create an ID map for substance, right? Yep, absolutely, you could do that. Absolutely. What's up, Side Effects? This is kind of mushy in here. Maybe we'll pull some of this out. And then we'll add. Right, so still looks a little mushy, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Right, but these ones have nice sharp corners. So as I build the difference between sharp corners and like rounded corners, we'll get a nice difference in just the shape read that's happening. If you use Sculptris Pro like that, how do you then retop and keep the details at that level? That's when you would bake this stuff. So this form right here actually needs to come in here like this. That's kind of what that was missing. Yeah, maybe we got some. These alternate forms kind of coming through the outside. Definitely got to work on all this stuff next, but see how the overall's reading. You know, part of me is saying that the skin shouldn't come out to here, the skin should actually come to here. like this. Let's save it real quick. Save it. What's up, Mauricio? How you doing, man? I think what I'm going to do then is just, maybe we'll just kill all this. And just pull that back a little. You know, don't be afraid to, they say, kill your darlings. You know, if something isn't working, just redo it. Resculpt it. That's what this is for. Happens all the time. What's up, Kwame? How you doing, man? Alright, so let's get rid of some more of this. What if we just wonder, can we do that? Yes. Ha 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 ha. But I like to keep this. This was nice. So let's kill that. Let's kill that. All right, so let's figure out what is this doing here. So maybe this skin fold is coming down like this. All right, I don't want it to be too straight though. You know, I want it to have some kind of shape. So maybe instead of coming down like that, this is actually going to pull up, and then maybe it'll actually come down. No. No. What if it's this one? I have to get rid of this guy. Don't be afraid to resculpt stuff, you know? Sometimes you just gotta. Oh, it could work. Maybe we'll take and we'll push all this stuff in more. And this stuff will pull out. So I want the skin to be on a higher surface, naturally, than the horns. So we have to pull these out more. And push that in so it's on a different level. It's on a whole nother level. Yeah. Now this feels like a skin flap. Or closer to a skin flap. You know, maybe this will actually connect here. And then just that little shape could tell you that this is skin here. Maybe this needs to come in more. Maybe this can come out. There you go. Now it looks like a skin flap. And I bet you once we add that supporting shape language through here, what is that surface doing? See if we can get these out working on that stair step level real quick. Just see if we can get that reed rolling right. So this I want to come up more. Just trying to bring this level up more so that this looks like an actual step and not just a ridge. There we go. So now it's reading more like an actual separation of material. Right, and by this form rolling into this form, it now starts to read that, okay, this is actually a different material than what this is here. You can actually bring this out a little bit more maybe. Actually, you know what, maybe this comes like that. Yeah. That's looking cool. I'm not really digging how this surface comes like this and then almost straight like that. So I want to make sure that this shape transition is working in my favor, not against me. It looks like I need to bring this overall up a little more. There we go. That feels much better. Still a little bit funky right in here. Little funky monkey. Maybe if we bring this guy up this way a little bit more. I'm gonna spread that out a little. Everybody still alive out there? I'm hoping that I didn't lose chat. I think everybody's just with me in concentration. Okay. There we go. Feels a little better. Still breathing. Okay, good. All right. Everybody's concentrating with me. Good. Sometimes you never know with this technology thing. It's funny every once in a while when you're doing these streams and you kind of get into the zone of like the work zone where you're just working on an idea, like everybody else kind of like follows. It's so funny. Like, wait, I gotta do the thing, and everybody's like, oh, yeah. It's hilarious. It's good though. Sometimes you end up talking a lot more than actually doing the work. So some of these streams I try to actually get stuff done. All right, so yeah, right. So I feel like this is all well and good. This is looking a lot tighter, a lot better. I want to start bringing this back into the family a little bit before we start getting too crazy over here. The other reason is, you know, while I'm doing this side, I may come up with another cool idea where I might change some things, so I don't want this side to be too far away for me to implement whatever cool stuff I come up with on this side back into this side. You know what I mean? Know what I mean? Alright, so I think the overall shape needs, right, because it's going like from thin to thicker. Not really digging that, so I want to make sure that the overall form, maybe this actually kicks out more here. We can support that thickness there instead of through here. Again, when I do this, I want to make sure that whatever these shapes are doing, they look interesting from all aspects, so that you don't get any angle that looks super dumb. You know what I mean? You want it to work in all. Now maybe this is actually thicker down here. Things get thinner out here. Alright, see how that's looking. Yeah. Really not going to see this side of the head ever, or much. So if I'm going to do anything on the sides of the heads, I want to make sure that this side is super dope. Alright, let's clean up some of that stuff. Like, you know what? Maybe we'll save that for next stream. This Sculptures does save the day. Because we did this stream, right? So if people want to go back and watch it, they can. But since we don't have to put you guys through that same exact thing we just did, maybe we'll do something else, and then on next stream, somebody may come back and be like, "Oh, how did you do that? What? Good God, man! How did you do that?" And then we'll bring this one in. So maybe we'll work on this one next stream. Next time, well, we still got some time left, so. Oh, thanks, Side. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Maybe what we'll do is we'll work on this. We'll try to figure out some of the things that are happening here. And maybe we can work on what's going on out here as well. Dom. Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate it, brother. Alright, so we gotta work on some form language out here. I think we have to refine whatever the hell's going on out there. This is supposed to be an ear hole, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't think. Oh, maybe he's got like ears that like come out here. Maybe he's got ears back here. This is just a joke idea, but yeah, we're gonna give him ear holes and not actual ears. We're gonna. Yeah, they do grow up so fast, man. They grow up so fast. His horns were just baby horns. All right. So let's work on this. Let's figure out what the hell is going on out here. I think what I'm going to do is let's just hide that so we can get to that. Figure out what's going on. Right, bro? Would make birthing very interesting if he had horns like this when he was born. Very, very interesting. Alright, so what I'm going to do is here's how I would approach something like this. Let's say that in your concept, you know, all you have is a couple of, you know, so maybe you have, you know, this piece as your concept. Well, you know, you there's a lot of times when you have to come up with the stuff on the backside, you know, not this backside, but like this backside. Ooh, you have a really tough time turning his head. You have to do the Batman thing. I'm Batman. Horn's getting in the way. DDD says, how long does it take to make a character like this? How long does sculpture take? How much retopology and texturing? It really depends on the fidelity that you're going for. Is there let's say that this is going to be a character for a AAA video game. I would say probably around a month to 2 months worth of work. That's from initial blockout mesh to in-game final textures. Probably does not include like the facial rig and blend maps and stuff. Facial deformity. Alright, so what I would do if I didn't have a concept for what the back of these look like is I would take whatever else is going on design element wise and see if I can use that, because more often than not your design elements are going to be familied and repeated throughout your actual element, whatever you're making. So I may take some of this style. I probably won't take this style, obviously, and I don't really have any other style. So what I would do is just create some interesting forms back here. So I would work on large forms and then go to small forms. So I'm just kind of thinking about how a horn would actually grow. A lot of times it's more with blend shapes, pre-drag. This guy would end up getting, like, he would take his teeth out, model the mouth bag, model the teeth and the tongue, and then you'd have to do blend shapes. Salman, I don't think that PolyPaint is exported with FBX. I think you have to export OBJ. OBJ will handle will contain vertex paint, vertex color information. I gotta turn this fan on. It's getting freaking hot in here. FBX doesn't hold vertex color information, as far as I know. So you have to try OBJ. So I'll just start with some larger forms. Yeah, it depends on your studio, on how you do blend shapes. A lot of people actually outsource it these days. There are studios that actually do specific that do blend shapes specifically. Alright, so let's make this an actual ridge maybe that comes through this way. Alright, and then maybe we have this recess that comes through here, like so. Maybe we do maybe we can echo some of those kind of coming that way. I don't really like that. Sorry if that fan is making any noise in my mic. It's just getting a little bit too hot in here. Got to have some air flowing a little. A couple minutes at least. So maybe this form kind of comes that way a little. You know, and this may take a couple of times to get the forms that you actually like correct. Don't be afraid to try a couple of different versions of it, you know? Average price for a model. Yeah, I don't know, man. It really depends on if it's in mass production or if it's one-offs. If it's one-offs, they're going to be more expensive. Um, if it's in mass production, it'll be a little bit cheaper. It also depends on the size. If this is just, you know, G.I. Joe sized, it probably will be cheaper. But if it's, you know, 18 inches tall, it's definitely going to be more expensive. I would say probably, you know, if this was like say 18 inches tall, you're probably looking at least a couple $100. This is cool. I like this thing happening there. It's actually kind of digging that. What are you saying, Joker? Is the fan a little much for you guys on the ears? I could turn it off if it's too much. Can't hear the fan. It's okay, but it's funny. Oh, that's what you were saying for the Alien versus Predator thing. Fans of my fan. Are you a fan of my fan or you're not? Like that too. This is cool. Ooh, yeah. I like that. I like this little dithering. Not dithering. What do you want to call it? But sometimes you come with these nice, fun, happy accidents. But yeah, I usually don't recommend books for learning software. I think one of the best ways to do it is to watch people work, and have them explain things. Probably one of the best. There's two really amazing ways. You're not Bob Ross. It's the happy little horns, happy little shapes. There's two main sources of learning for ZBrush that I usually recommend to people. One is Z Classroom. It's absolutely amazing stuff from Pixelogic, and it's all free. So I would definitely look at that. The other one I would look at is Michael Pavlovich. He's got some awesome training videos for free. And all your favorite ZBrush stuff. He goes through so much amazing stuff when it comes to ZBrush. So I highly recommend checking out Z Classroom and Michael Pavlovich. Shane Olson's actually really good too. Shane does some really nice stuff. Yeah, Danny Max does some really awesome stuff. I feel like his stuff is a little bit more geared towards how do you create stylized characters, and not necessarily how do you create or how do you figure out what the heck ZBrush is doing. It's more about how do you create awesome characters and less how does the software work. Yeah, Shane Olson also does a great job of teaching you tips and tricks and stuff when it comes to ZBrush processes. Yep. You know, the other thing is really awesome too is Pixelogic's Ask ZBrush, I think is what it was. They have like a hashtag that they use. I think it's Ask ZBrush. But yeah, they have some really cool tips on how to do things. Like, oh, how do I create a mask from blah 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 blah? Or how do I do this? And they're like, this is how you do it. And you're like, oh my god, thank you. Something like that, you know? So, design-wise, why did I make that little choice right here? So see how I can do hard surface stuff next. See how this is kind of like one main line through here? It's kind of not very appeasing. So I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe I need to break this up. So that's why I broke that up right there and then brought it this way like this. Now we have this line that can kind of continues here, and then we have some breakup coming through there. It just looks a little more natural. Kind of getting away from the back of this guy, so. How to Make a Grenade by Joseph Drust. In Drust we trust. Not Frogo. Yeah, it is a little bit expensive. It's not as expensive as say like Maya or 3ds Max and all those. I do have to say it's worth absolutely every penny. But if you want to start with something smaller, you can start with Core. Yeah, like Hannibal said, just look at ZBrush Core. They've got, it's a smaller version of ZBrush. So it doesn't have like FiberMesh or NanoMesh or Array Mesh, some other little thing, you know, those types of things it doesn't have. But for the most part, it has everything you need, at least to get started. Maybe this in here. Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, that came out wrong then. Well, congratulations, man. Welcome to the Z fam. Good to have you on board, brother. Or sister. I'm not sure which one you are. Might be kind of cool to do this little breakup out here too. Maybe. Z-Fam hype. That's right. So just trying to get some more interesting things happening out here, which I feel like this is doing. We've got some nice repetition of this type of shape here, where this is coming out, this is coming in. Yeah, it's okay, we're all newbies at something, man. We're all newbies at something. Guess what? I'm a newbie at doing statues. I don't know what the hell. I mean, I can kind of guess what I'm doing. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Let's get a little bit more geo in here. So just using Sculptris Pro and the Smooth tool to add a little bit more geo in here. You can see what's happening. So Sculptris Pro coming in and adding that geo here. What's up, Hey Man Shoe? How you doing, man? Not real life statues, collectibles. So ultimately, what I would like to do is have. So I have my art in video games. What I really want to do next is have my own statue. So that's what I'm doing. I'm working on my next plan, man. Yeah, exactly. Well, you just, you never know what the future is going to bring, so my next goal is to have an art piece that was produced in a statue line. You know what I mean? Brian says, awesome work. I have owned ZBrush since 2.5, but still learning. Yeah, me too, man. I actually came back. I was out of the industry for a little while. I was working in medical modeling for 4 or 5 years before I got back into the game industry and back into the entertainment end of modeling. Things were much different when I came back. So I was a newbie not too long ago. You just gotta keep going. Can you help me out in light in ZBrush? What do you mean, Himanshu? I'm just trying to get some of these more subtle secondary reads of some interesting shapes going through here. Bought in 2004, best purchase ever. I almost have to agree with you. But for software, probably yes. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, man, it's been fun. Glad to have you in the fam, brother. I feel like this is a little too thick up here. Oh, you make them but can't present them very well. Oh, I get you. Yeah, we got another 15 minutes. Maybe we could try that real quick. Let's do this. Alright, I will show you guys how to do some quick, decent rendering from here. Usually what I'll do is create a couple of different light passes in ZBrush. So first off, I want to get my key light. You know, what is my key light doing? Is it straight down? Is it over to the left? I don't like that one very much. Maybe from the top right. Nah, I don't really like that one very much either. Maybe more straight from the right. So usually what I'll do is I'll just kind of figure out where I want my source light to come from. And I actually kind of just liked it right here. Like he's out in the sun. Add some nice depth down there. Yeah, but usually I'll throw it off to the side just a touch. And give a little bit of the asymmetry to even to the light. Right? So how the shadow is falling over his eyes, we can see more of his eye here and less of the eye here. So even in my lighting scenario, I tried to have at least a little bit of asymmetry. So let's say that's good. Alright, then I would go to, so we'll grab light, throw that over there. Actually, let's throw it on this side. And then we'll kill that side here. Where'd it go? So we'll grab light, grab that. Hey. Thank you. Grab that, and we'll grab render. Put that over there. Oh yeah, Brian. That's what I do for career at the moment. Absolutely. That's where my true passion is. So let's say that this is my first render. Alright, so I come into render not render properties, render pass. And like here's all of the render passes. So you have they're shaded, you've got depth, you've got shadow. In this particular case, no ambient occlusion, but then here's my mask. Yeah. That could hurt you or not hurt you. Pre-drag is saying, for those of you on Facebook or on YouTube, for people who may be new to ZBrush, before doing this kind of lighting setup, make sure that your model is using non-matte cap materials. Matte caps have baked lighting, so they will not receive any light. Very correct. I typically just use the basic material, which is actually that's startup material, basic material here. So I mostly use basic material. So let's throw another render real quick. There we go. Okay, so then I'll just take this dude, save that out, save it out, and then let's save this real quick. So we're gonna do whip render files. How about that? Alright, I'll just save that real quick. Save that as diffuse. Yeah, just diffuse. That's fine. Okay, and then this one we'll save out depth and just call that depth. Save out shadow, just call it fucking BPR shadow, that's fine. Save out the mask, save it. Okay, cool. So I had those saved. So now that, and then you can add ambient occlusion if you want to. In order to do that, you have to go into render properties, turn on AO, and then re-render. It'll take a little bit longer. You see it actually do in the AO. So I'll typically just do this for the main render, for the main light. And then now if I go into my render pass, I'll see my AO here. There's actually that actually looks pretty good, so I'm going to keep that one. So keep that one. And then I'm going to go back in and turn off my AO, because now I'm going to go in and create my rim light. So you can create another light here if you want. Let's turn this one off. Click once to make it go in the background. And let's actually turn this up to like... actually, you know what? Let's just do this one. So we're going to click this to go into the back. And then let's put this up to, say, 3. Alright, so maybe I want my rim light to come from this side. Because from this side, it's going to show a lot of this really nice detail up here. And it'll give me this nice ridge along here. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's cool. What's up, Eki Shawase? How you doing, man? Hope I didn't murder your name. Alright, so that looks pretty cool. You can adjust this some more if you want to, but I feel like this is cool. So then we'll go into render properties. Actually, you know what? Let's go back into light real quick, and then let's turn my ambient down. Let's see if that will work a little bit better, because I want to get that. I want to get this a little darker in here, which is fine. That's a little bit better. Alright, so then now I'll go render pass, and then I'm just going to save out this shaded version. Call this rim. And now we do the handy dandy duty. Photoshop. I tend to do it by hand. Just bring everything over by hand. But there is a, I think it's in plugin. There is a way to get it over to Photoshop. Yes. ZBrush to Photoshop. So basically you can do all the same thing that I'm doing right here and just do send to Photoshop. So, but sometimes it could take a little bit of time. Yeah, chromatic aberration is what you're talking about, Pro. Alright, let's go back over to Photoshop. Hey, you can see I was doing some work for Stanford Children's Hospital. Very nice. Thanks there. Thanks there, buddy. So I'll just open up everything. And then I'll just grab everything, put it into the same depth. This is 16, this is 8. That's fine. Shadow pass we're going to put into there. Mask, not yet. AO pass, let's put that into here. I'm missing one. What am I missing? So this is depth. This is rim. This is diffuse. I feel like there's one that I'm missing. There's 3, 4 with a mask. Depth, diffuse, shadow is the one I'm missing. There we go. So just grab everything. Hey. What the hell? What the hell, Bobby? Alright, I'll come back to that. So for mask, what I'll do is I'll just I'll do Control A for select all, Control C for copy, and then what I do is I come into my channels, do a new channel, and then paste that into an alpha in my channels. Then hit RGB. Actually, wait, before we do that, then I shift select this alpha, put all these dudes in a group, and then I'll make that my alpha for there. So now I've got depth, I got rim, and let me go grab my AO and my shadow. Let's grab shadow and AO. Why does it keep doing that? That's weird. Is it a different depth? Is that why? Oh, it's alpha, that's why. So I'm going to just turn this to bitmap. Oh. Turn this to grayscale. And then RGB. Now I should be able to keep it in there. There we go. Oh, that's why it was doing some funky things. It was doing the funky monkey. So now let's grab my shadow. So I'm going to turn the mode to grayscale, RGB, and then grab that and throw it in there. Okay, so now I have shadow, I have AO. Alright, so then from here what I'll do is let's just throw in a background solid color. Okay, there we go. So for the rim, I think I usually will just go through my different rendering layer styles. I think lighten is pretty good. You can just go up or down. Figure out what works out best for you, screen or lighten. Kind of like lighten. That's nice. And then we'll do depth. And then this one I think is multiply. I think multiply is what I use normally. Yeah, let's just do multiply. There's multiply. And then maybe I'll just turn the opacity down some. And then AO, maybe multiply would be good too. Let's see. Still feeling like multiply is probably best. Yeah, let's just do multiply. And maybe I'll turn that opacity down a little bit as well. I actually typically don't use the shadow very much. I feel like it just kills a lot of things that I don't necessarily want it to. Most of the time from depth and AO I get enough push in the depth of things that I don't use that shadow very much. So there we go. Got a cool render. Then maybe I'll throw like a levels on just for that group. Maybe we'll push things a little more. There you go. There's a cool render. So that's usually what I do. It's something super simple. So grab a main light, export the layers. The trick is doing that rim light. That really helps. You know, you can add a couple, and then you can add like, the cool thing is with the rim, you can do, say like a color saturation. Hey yo, it's 8 o'clock. Sometimes what I'll do is for that rim light, I'll actually add color to the actual render. So if I come in here into this one and add a little bit of color to it, doesn't really matter what color at this point, as long as it's some color. Because then I'll actually get, I can change that color in Photoshop. If there's no color, you can't change the color. If there is color, and so that we'll say this is color rim. If there is color, then you can change that color. So then now we'll just open up that same one. It was color rim. Throw that dude in there. Rim is going to be lighten. Let's turn all that off first. So there, we got some color going on, right? So now what I can do is I can do a hue and saturation on the rim, and then I can change that color to whatever I want to. Maybe I want a cool color. And then turn the saturation way down. So you can do stuff like that, you know. You can add a little bit of color, and then you just do Photoshop magic. Hey, do whatever you want. Do what looks right. You can put it there. You can put it wherever you want to. So yeah. That's how I usually do just quick renders. Either that or I just throw it into KeyShot. 0.85. Let's put this back to my sculpting light. So there you go. Hey, Score Gazer. Yeah. It's fun. And then you can, you know, do that again and again for whatever ones that you want to do, you know. So he's coming along. He's coming along. It's feeling a little messy back here, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. All right, I think that's gonna be it for me today, boys and girls, ladies and Germans. I think that's it. We're gonna go have some family time, some breakfast and stuff. Yeah, that was good. I will be back soon, probably a couple weeks, for the Pixelogic channel. But I have been doing more personal streams, so if you guys are interested in following my personal channel, I'm actually working on... Where did he go? Here, I'll show you the other guy I'm working on real quick. Because I plug myself. I'll plug myself. We are working on another fan art, go figure, for Horizon Zero Dawn. I've been working on this guy for quite a while on my personal stuff. Actually, I was working on this guy for a little bit in previous Pixo streams. But now I'm working on getting him retopologized and ready for Game Mesh. So this is the guy that I created last run. And you can see I did this pretty much the same trick for that beard. So this is the dude that I worked on. He's actually now getting broken down for retopo. So if you would like to follow me on my personal channel, feel free to give us a follow. We can do retopo stuff, and we're going to jump into some Moto. We're going to jump into some Substance Painter, Marmoset tool bag baking, all kinds of fun stuff. So, yep. What else? If you're not following the Pixelogic channel, definitely give Pixo channel a follow. There's an awesome, really amazing artists that stream on here. I think Anna is coming up in a couple of hours. She's got some really cool stuff, so stick around for her. If you're interested in ZBrush, I think there's a trial version. More information on the Pixo page on Twitch. Check out Z Classroom. Check out Michael Pavlovich if you're looking for how-tos. Shane Olson's really great for that as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty close to it. So I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys learned a couple things. But most of all, I hope you're inspired to go make your own cool stuff. So do it. You go make that cool stuff. You do it. Uncle Brendon's gonna come find you. Alright, guys. Have a great one. We will see you on the next round. Alright. Later. Peace out. Thanks, bro. Coming through with the link drop. Thanks, buddy. Alright, guys.